Welcome to the Good Music Show. Welcome back for part 2 of our 2025 songs playlist. We're covering the Good Music Show official 2025 playlist. 20 songs, all from 1 year, 10 songs each. And we've been, alternating, going back and forth with each of the songs we've added to this playlist. And now we're going to cover the second half. And I say we just get right into it without any further ado. I'm Danny, in case you haven't listened to the first part.
And I'm Julius, the co-host.
Yeah. And we're going to jump right in with a Julius pick.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning back in for the part 2 of our 2025 playlist episode. And we're going to be starting out with a song that I literally just have to call perfect. It is called The Real Thing by Drugdelaer and Weyes, two artists that I do adore on different capacities. Because Weyes, I may have talked about her already. She might have been on one of our playlist episodes.
Yeah, track ones.
Yeah, she's just one of the greatest singers, of whatever this era of music is. And I love a great singer that is able to somehow just paint a whole picture through the emotions they bring in for their vocalizing, where she literally sounds like a fairy from Zelda. It's just incredible stuff. It's transformative. And she's able to get such strong production. Because I never really checked to see who she works with in that regard of her music. But she's able to just get an amazing soundscape that just amplifies the effectiveness of her amazing vocals. And Drugdelaer is an artist that I currently only love 3 songs of his because I have not tried checking out any of his albums yet. But the 3 songs that I've heard by him are songs that I do love, where he has 2 that I checked out a while ago. One's called Suddenly. That's the one that was one of my favorite songs to listen to in college that has Weyes on it. Just a very great low-key song that just has just great transitions and amazing bridge, just instrumentation that builds, and when it crescendos, it's just nothing like it. And Real Thing is just the maximum version of that, where it's a single they released for, I believe, his follow-up album, where just a little background on Drugdelaer. From what I've read, he's just an amazing producer. He's able to get a great team together. I believe he's a band, but he's also one of those bands that's technically one guy and he has people working with him. Gorillaz. Gorillaz is technically a band, but who fucking knows if someone's next to Damon Albarn in the studio. So
right. Or kind of Nourished by Time.
Yeah,
Spoiler
exactly.
Alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, where it's kind of like that, where I'm sure whoever's listening, if they're a bigger Drugdelaer fan, they could correct us on that. But a thing that I thought was really fascinating was that his implementation of guest vocalists like Weyes for these projects come from his own lack of confidence with his singing ability, which I think is just, something that's noteworthy, because to be someone who can make such beautiful soundscapes musically and everything, and is still recognized I can't do it all. In this era, that's a huge thing to me, because I could make a whole list of people who don't need to be doing fucking everything with their music. But anyway, I won't get into that. So Real Thing is just this really just beautiful song that feels like it just came right out of that Phil Spector era of pop music, where every single track element of it is just at full force of quality. And I've already Dick Road Weyes enough, but I just cannot say enough. Her singing on this thing is it's like hearing Paul McCartney in his prime. It's just gorgeous. And for me and Alona's anniversaries, I always try to pick a really good love song, where I'm happy I was able to save this one in my back pocket for one of the posts I did. Because I think it's I love a good love song. I think almost every song I have in this part 2 episode is a love song, except for I think a couple. Yeah, I know, just one of them is not a love song. So but this is just a great, great song. If you haven't heard it yet, check it out. What did you think, Danny?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, perfect song, perfect name of an artist with Drugdelaer. I mean, you can't beat that. I'm very jealous of that name. Not that I'm gonna be a big musician coming up soon, but if I sometimes to fantasize and what would I call myself?
2026 is the year where we sell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be drug Cellar. How about that?
Yeah.
That's got a rank to it. No, but
Yeah.
just to pick up on a thread that you dropped with Wise Blood, I just did a quick, pull it up, Jamie, Wikipedia search, and credited on the last two Wise Blood albums is Jonathan Rado of the band Foxygen, who has a connection to Sean Fleming of Diane Coffee. Sean was the drummer for Foxygen for a point. And also Jonathan Rado was all over the new Miley Cyrus album that Julius put me onto. And I definitely enjoyed that one a lot as well.
Yeah, no, I had no idea because I was a big fan of Foxygen like back in like college. And just it makes a lot of sense now where all of this is like coming into place.
Yeah. So there's I never really checked out Foxygen too much, but I'm sure I would like it, Similar, kind of, I guess, what's the Baroque pop-esque stuff, which is kind of showing through on the real thing here. It immediately made me think of Carole King's Tapestry album, which I think I told you, Julius, as soon as I checked it out. And that's a great, album. It's definitely like one of those ones that appears on a bunch of like greatest albums of all time lists. And, I'm not sure how many people out there, check that one out, but I highly recommend it. It's like a good piano rock, type album. Like, some people might say easy listening or something like that, but there's a lot of songs on there that are like similar to the real thing. You're not listening to them easily. You are putting them in the front of your attention, turning them up on a nice summer day, out in the backyard or whatever. But yeah, I just love the groove of the song and great lyrics. You mentioned the love song aspect, and you got a little bit of a vocal solo. And then, I mean, what else could you want besides a smooth saxophone solo to close the song and just really put a button on a wonderful listening experience?
Like, it is like really something else. And I just love like the really cool touches of like the instrumentation that sprinkles in. Like the strings that come in after the first part of the chorus just is stuck in my head. Yeah. Like, it's just a really, really cool song. Perfect. But yeah. We can move on to the next joint from Danny. Okay,
so next we've got a song called Spangled by a band called Fust, a North Carolina band led by the singer-songwriter Aaron Doughty. And this album was sold on me pretty easily just by mentioning that it was produced by Alex Ferrell, who is the producer of Wednesday, MJ Lenderman, Hotline TNT. So he's doing pretty well as far as making critically acclaimed indie rock albums. And this one is definitely no exception. And this song, Spangled, is the first song on the album. And like when I first checked it out, I was like, okay, this is the best song. But since, the time has passed since I first checked it out, I've grown to really, really love the album. It's on Big Ugly. And Spangled is kind of like this introduction of, it's like it's a lot of Southern tales of things are decrepit, like this song references like a hospital that they're tearing down because it got repossessed. Cause I guess, I don't know, that's how things work now. We don't make sure hospitals stay working. So we'll just let them, just die slowly or whatever. But like this song, it's got this great charging, like anthemic chorus and pedal steel riffs, guitar riffs, little fiddle mixed in. And this is the kind of like indie rock. Probably there's this greater movement of indie rock led by people like MJ Lenderman and Wednesday. And this fits right in with that. Really, really great song. What do you think of this one, Julius?
Yeah, I was really into it because like it has like such rich and surreal lyricism going on in it, where it reminded me of an album that I am kicking myself in the head more for not picking a song from. Neighborhood Gods Unlimited by Open Mike Ego, which I think I sent that to you when the time it came out. Yeah, because like a really great Pitchfork review of it points out that like he thinks the successor to David Lynch is Open Mike Ego, which is a fun case to try to build because he's someone that most David Lynch fans will never even heard of. But similar to this song, there's just like really cool imagery that the singer and Open Mike Ego in their respective like songs just moves on past. They don't really like let it linger. They let it like they let you make the choice to let it float in your head. Because something I really love is like, he's described it as like hospital that got torn down, and the chorus of like, and I'm left floating in room 305. And like, that is just such a like funny visual of just like, it's like, I have no idea what the perspective of this thing is, when I'm like, is he like a ghost? Is he a spirit? Is he the like hospital? Who the fuck is Kevin? Who the hell is Amy?
Yeah.
And like the song, it like could not give a shit.
Right.
Like it's as straightforward, but also like creates this real fun contrast with like surreal lyricism that's going on here. Right, that was really cool, because at first glance I was just like, I feel like I'm having an aneurysm, but like I started realizing, oh no, this is like the guy's deal basically, where I definitely had fun with this one, and it makes sense like that I'm glad you brought the producer, because I was like, this the really strong mixing on the guitars remind me a lot of like what I heard of those respective artists you brought up.
Right. Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about this album is the kind of vocal effect on his voice, because like, I mean, he's similar to Ryan Davis, who we talked about in the last episode. Like, they're these kind of like whiny, like, wails with an accent that I would say most people wouldn't say is like the top singing ability when we talk about it in a physical sense, but it works so well with the lyrics that he's bringing. I'm pretty sure he's like a MFA in literature or something like that. Like, he's a learned writer. So that definitely informs a lot of the songs that he writes. And but anyway, the vocal effect is like this, there's this low tone that just kind of warbles underneath his voice that, takes like what most people would label as an average singer to the next level of like, I can't get enough of his voice, and it just suits the style of music so well, with like the, breezy country rock vibes that he has. And the like, I've seen a lot of like, videos from the shows, and it's definitely this sense of like, community vibes, and, like working through your troubles together is how you get out of it. So yeah, this was just a really, the first I heard of this band was listening to their album from this year. So they've definitely earned a fan by, me. So I'm definitely looking forward to following them and going back through their catalog of a few albums as well.
And if I'm ever in a karaoke bar the next 10 years that I feel unsafe at, this is a song that I would gladly do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very simple song too. I think it like mostly just switches back between two chords, but for some reason, like it has that momentum, and well, not for some reason, that because they made it that way, but yeah, really great song.
Hell yeah. Love it. And after that, we have a song from probably a top 5 album of mine for this year, Baby by Dijon. There's a lot of songs you could go with on this record, because every song feels like it's its own like statement piece that is kind of just like doing a whole thing on its own. And something that I love that Dijon does, especially, which you'll see in the song Fire, is that they become vessels that can literally just morph right before your eyes. Once it reminds you of something, it just takes 3 turns in a row until you're lost again. And I think the shorter songs on Baby can feel like an afterthought because of that, rather than something fully fledged, where plain people could probably be like, oh, why not the title track? Why not another Baby? Why not Yamaha, which is the like, if you're not ready for Baby, which if my description of it wasn't strange enough for you, it is a very strange pop record, because ultimately it is pop music. That is what his goal in mind is, because he's very like influenced by Prince, whose like whole thing, it was like trying to like fill up pop with as much soul as possible and see how weird it can get, you know. And but Yamaha, if you don't like any of that sound, just check out Yamaha and be happy. Don't spend 40 minutes of your life trying to figure out this album, because something that like really makes this song very interesting to me is how destructive it feels. Like whenever it feels like it's catching a vibe, it just immediately shifts into a whole other thing. Like there's a weird sample at the end that just completely blows it wide open, and then it just ends. It just smash cuts to whatever's next. And what'd you think, Danny, of this song?
I really like this song, and if I were to pick a song to put on this playlist from it, it probably would be Yamaha, because I'm a fan of tunesmiths. I got, there's a lot of songs I picked are like, perfectly constructed, pieces of musical enjoyment. But as Dijon said in I think it was the Pitchfork write-up that he had a very big moment at the end of the year with a lot of, the SNL, you had the Pitchfork, zine that was just about him, and the tour and everything that Julius.
Could I do a quick rant?
Yeah, you could go on a rant.
We talk about Pitchfork so much in this, so I feel bad.
Yeah.
About having to give them some more shit, but because I don't want to screw up our chances of ever getting hired. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
I don't want to work there. But anyway, I hate that they call it a zine, because as someone who loves DIY spaces and loves zines as adjacent to that culture. Zines you shouldn't be selling. You should just be distributing them and handing them out and call it a day. Where I don't like the whole thing of give us $25, motherfucker. Here's a zine. I don't know. To me, a zine is something you can staple together and you do it with your pen and paper. I don't know. I would just call it a magazine. You don't need to take the NDA aesthetic to make it seem like it's cooler. Magazines are cool. Everyone loves a magazine.
It's like buying the 824 film notebook, which is just a notebook for you to write about your thoughts, but it has 824 on the front. Or the fact that every podcast is done by a celebrity. Leave that to the weirdos like us.
Yeah, exactly. But as you carry on about Dijon's big end of year.
Yeah. So he had a huge moment the past I guess end of December or beginning of December, end of November type thing, and I think it's insanely well deserved, and it's really cool to see that it's catching on, because this he in that article he described wanting this to be an album that you were embarrassed to play, that you had to keep turning up or turning down because the volume would cut to really loud all of a sudden or really quiet. And I think he kind of maybe found a middle ground or, whatever, kind of toned that aspect of it down a little bit in the final result. But I think it's a really great personal work that just shows how much he can channel the emotions of the soul and R&B of the past, and even gospel in a way. Through that Prince through line of music, where Prince was trying to turn the dials up all the way and see what could come out of it, and just experiment and play around. And it's really impressive how much it works if you're willing to give it that chance, if you see it through those lenses. Because on my first listen, I was like, all right, what are we doing? But as soon as I took the time to think about it and let it kind of be what it is, then I realized, oh wow, this is I don't even know how you could arrive to these points. And apparently, I've heard, I can't remember there's a guy who people compare to Dijon a lot, who has that low Photoshop image on the album cover. It's an unfinished album.
Jai Paul.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's funny, because I had a line here in my notes where the best way to describe this song to me is if you covered a Jai Paul song in aluminum foil and threw it in the microwave.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is, because his music is also very experimental soul pop music.
Yeah.
His stuff is great, but the thing that sucks with him is it's he saw Frank Ocean and was oh, I could do that in an even more frustrating way, where I'm never going to release an album. I'm never going to make do with the incredible talent that I can offer to the world, where not to give Dijon a very petty runner-up award when it comes to this kind of thing, because Dijon, I'm sure he wants to be I'm the next Prince, I'm the next D'Angelo, but I don't think either of those guys would ever produce a song for Justin Bieber. And you can headbutt your wall all you want if you ever hear this, but I'm right. And that's why for me, I put him more in the contemporary of someone like Jai Paul, who I hope I'm saying his name right, because I do love his work a lot, and Frank Ocean, who are just these guys who are R&B masterminds, and they are very much trying to rise above the box that genre can be by applying it to pop music, those sensibilities. And I think Dijon, what I'm grateful for him is that he wants to make music and he wants to release music whereas Frank Ocean and Jai Paul do not. They are happy making what's going to be the most insane vault of music that will be released posthumous at some point.
Right.
Because, like, I don't blame them for not releasing. If I release Blonde, I wouldn't drop anything else either. But with Jai Paul, it's just fucking dog. Like, the unfinished album is so good that it's better than most finished albums. But anyway, so Dijon has that advantage because I feel like I wouldn't rank him above those two. But the thing is, since he's making it and he's releasing stuff in such a like creative fashion, he's at this. He's not like just a ripoff of those guys because there are plenty ripoffs I could list of like Frank Ocean. The interview you brought up of Pitchfork, I didn't like it at all because I hate whenever an artist is just like, yeah, my shit sucks, doesn't it? And like, you know, and I think that stood out. Wait, what?
I was gonna say that his personality in interviews is very different from what like you might assume from his stage presence.
Yeah, because I got to see him live, and he was phenomenal outside of kind of just being there to play the tunes. He didn't say what's up to Chicago. He just was just like next song, which I'm fine with, but I know people who aren't really into that. Yeah. And whatchamacallit, where I don't like his personality he puts on for interviews. If him and McGee feel like they put on weird facades to try to seem mysterious when dude, just be mysterious. You don't need to fucking force it. But guys, sound like the manager. Anyway, back to Fire. Something that I think is a cheat code that Dijon was very smart to do because he's not scared to wear his influences on his sleeve is recruit Pino Palladino, who's like probably a top 10 bassist just because of the work he's done with D'Angelo. Like he's one of the greats.
Don't forget John Mayer. I recently listened to a John Mayer live album where Pino was on bass, so that's all I.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, I'm really surprised if John Mayer's a white guy that's obsessed with voodoo. That would make a lot of sense.
Probably, yeah.
But I like John Mayer. I think John Mayer's good. I just think I never checked out his solo stuff, so I have no idea if there's like a hidden gem for me in there or whatever. But yeah,
that's like the
Guitar Pyramids.
Yeah, I checked him out through his like Grateful Dead connection because he's in Dead and Company. So
yeah, he seems like he's like a cooler Dave Grohl. Like Dave Grohl's still cool, but like I'm tired of like seeing him in documentaries. This is what I mean. But like you can tell he's a guy who like loves music and he's a great musician.
Yeah,
and he has his corner of this whole weird web of things.
Right.
But Pino Palladino, like his bass lines here are like exceptional. As per usual, like the one alone, the title track is great. The one on Fire is phenomenal when you're able to like hear it in the way you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like re-listen to that to like look for it because there's a lot of other.
There's a lot of other things where like his bass lines are very buried in a lot of these, but I also don't have the best speakers, so don't come at me. But whatchamacallit. But when I got to see him live, something I was excited about seeing him live was that he was doing rearrangements of a lot of his songs in his catalog, and if not that, extended versions, where I got to like catch that he was doing an extended version of Fire because, like I said, Fire just ends out of fucking nowhere. So like I was like, there must be something else here, especially. Oh yeah, I forgot. I did bring up what that stood out to me in the interview was him being like, oh yeah, I had an album that I pretty much made, but then I just gave it up to McGee, and then I made this album in 3 months, which I think that would be so raw if it's true. It's just unfortunately with musicians, I'm used to them lying to create aura and mythology. But it'd be cool because this album does feel like something that you kind of just throw together, and it's like as great as it is because of the talent that you have in the room. And there's a lot of talent in this room. Like I think even on Fire alone, you got Pino Palladino, BJ Burden, who's like real dope. He did the loops on it. But there's a lot of cool people involved with this project. But anyway, so at the concert, did the extended version of Fire, and it was incredible. Where I always ask for a live album these days, but I really want a live album from Dijon because that version of Fire is like fire.
Yeah. No, I think I do. There is like some because the first Dijon song I heard was Big Mike's, which Julius you sent me, and you're like, I heard you like jam, and I was like, oh okay, let's see what this is all about. And there's something about this like kind of. It's just very I don't know, not my personality, the way they're like, arms around, like setting up this aesthetic of a messy living room, and to find out that it's
Yeah.
like it's just a stage, which I should give that full short film a watch. What's it called?
Absolutely.
Is it Absolutely?
Yeah, I realized that. Like,
Yeah.
I was kind of answering your question, but also,
Yeah.
yeah, you should watch it.
I do want to give that, a chance and, watch it. I just haven't yet. But there's something about the Dijon aesthetic that's like, I'm not willing to put it in my top contenders, but I really respect what he's doing.
Do you feel like it's because even the same thing I was saying with Frank Ocean and Jai Paul is that like D'Angelo, only dropped 3 albums per decade when he was active. Whereas another thing of like Dijon is kind of filling in that void as well of like, we're not going to get another D'Angelo album, but at least Dijon is here throwing darts in a similar way. Because the thing that stood out to me a lot about Big Mike's when I first heard it, I was like, this feels like it's just some really good musicians trying to do voodoo, which I was like, okay, I love that, because there's not enough great artists who are trying to replicate that. Yeah. Or do you feel like a similar vibe, or are you kind of, I don't know?
No, I think I'm pretty much on the same page as you. I do kind of wish, like, I don't know, I just imagine what it would be like. Like, imagine Dijon in like 20 years doing like an unplugged session where he's doing all his songs in like a straightforward, like, I mean, similar to what keiyaA did with In the Blue Light. Like, I kind of want to hear those because these are like really great songs. It's just the aesthetic intention of, distorting all these things to communicate. I mean, like, we didn't even talk about the lyrics of Fire, like, saying like, even if I kill myself right now, it's like he's making love to the microphone. Like, that's how intimate he's getting with these lyrics, and like the delivery of them. But yeah, it's just like that is, distorted aesthetic is like not what I want to put on all the time. That's all. That's like the main, disconnect for me. But I can still step aside that and realize, like, yeah, these songs are like built insanely well, and like when you see him perform live, you're like, oh my god, like and then the fact that he's even like kind of improvising and changing things up night to night, and with the tour is like even more mind blowing.
Insane voice, by the way. Like, there's like a CD exclusive bonus track. I could have just said bonus track. There's a bonus track on the CD version of Baby that is him like doing a soulful 9 Inch Nails. I mean, 9 Inch Nails is soulful, but you don't really hear that word applied to them. But like explicitly soulful 9 Inch Nails songs where it's loud, scary, and fucking awesome. And I didn't know his existence until I was at the concert. He was just like, this is our first time performing this one. I hope you enjoy it. And it's the scariest thing in the middle of this very intimate, cool, experimental, soulful affair. And he did it right before he did Many Times, which it's everyone's favorite song by him. And it was kind of amazing seeing him do what feels like a song that would be like so stressful on his vocal cords and everything. And he just immediately locks back in and just kills it for 40 more minutes. Where it's just really, I love being able to just see a really great singer in the flesh just singing like, man, they really are just, this is what they can do every fucking night,
Yeah, I think, the best artists have that. You have your conflicted thoughts and feelings about them, like, and that's what makes it fun to follow an artist like that is like, oh, what are they doing right? What are they doing that is a little cringeworthy? What would I change? So yeah, I don't mean to like, even criticize. I'm not criticizing, not that that's a problem, but
I mean, he got number 2 on the top 50 year. He'll be fine if 2 guys on a podcast.
He'll be fine. Yeah, unless that success destroys his mind and he doesn't know what to do next, and just
I hope a tweet that he didn't see, because it's a tweet that is a really fun dig, but I can break down why I don't like it. When it went viral, was someone was like, yeah, I like the Dijon album, but it just sounds like Ed Sheeran over JPEG Mafia beats, because I think that's just literally throwing whatever word that comes to mind to like make fun of someone. Because the thing is, the guy got defensive, was like, I said I like the album, okay? But I'm like, yeah, but you're liking it in a very stupid way if you think Ed Sheeran could make any of these songs. Like, I have had to listen to a lot of Ed Sheeran because I've worked a lot of shitty jobs, and trust me, if he was making anything like this, bro, anything, if Ed Sheeran was trying to channel D'Angelo, I would be a diehard fan. Like, trust me, I will fucking be there.
Yeah.
Where that tweet really got on my nerves when people were like saying like, yeah, he said what we all wanted to say. I'm like, yeah, being stupid, amazing. I don't know. Also, JPEG Mafia can never. Sorry, don't get me started.
All right, the producer's holding up the stop talking about JPEG Mafia sign, so we better go to the next song here.
But one last note. If I could get another chance to remake this thing, I would replace the song of Higher.
Wait, you would do what?
I would replace this song with the song Higher from Baby. I just want to make that clarification.
So you're retroactively, after we've already talked about the song, you're petitioning that you would make the change if possible.
Yeah, just to like make it clear that like my opinion of this album is constantly transforming.
Yeah, no,
like
that makes sense.
Because a few months ago, my favorite song was like Kinda Love. Then it was around the time we were working on this, Fire. Yeah. Now it's Higher. I can't get enough of Higher.
Yeah. Yeah, that just speaks to the
that's the only, just to clarify, that's the only song I feel this way about on the playlist. I'm not, like, just so people don't think like, oh, why should I trust your opinion on the rest of them?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely a fascinating album for that reason because, there's just so many different little things that could hit you and kind of change your opinion of a song for better or for worse. Probably mostly for better, but yeah. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. All right, so we'll go to the next song here. We got a Danny Robbins double coming up with 2 songs that I picked, and I'll explain why.
Double D.
First, we've got "Friend in the End" by Lukas Nelson featuring Sierra Ferrell. So we were going to the depths of desiccation and distortion in digital quality, and now we're rising from the ashes with I don't even know, it's like wind chimes that kind of start off the song. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
We got
very atmospheric.
We've got a, fairly straightforward love song / duet. It's not like necessarily a classic duet. It's, Sierra Ferrell's providing harmony vocals that are actually mixed properly. Because I'm very, very particular about this. I mentioned it before. Sierra Ferrell has been saying yes to a lot of things, a lot of, features and duets and stuff. And, some people, Post Malone, just do not know how to handle having one of the greatest singers in country music of all, of the current moment on their song. But I think Lukas does, and they've actually put out a couple of covers together, bluegrass covers using the Traveling McCouries as their backup band, doing Adele's "Someone Like You" and Neil Young's "Unknown Legend." I highly, highly recommend those covers. They're released as singles, and they're really belting both Lukas and Sierra. But "Friend in the End" definitely stuck out to me on for a lot of reasons. It's just great songwriting, great melody. Lukas really leans into obviously being a son of Willie Nelson will teach you a couple things, but I think in this song he's really leaning into the Kris Kristofferson style of writing about love and heartbreak and romance in very, shall we say, intense and passionate terms. Talking about like a raging river and all that stuff and dousing all my clothes and all that. So, what do you think of this one, Julius?
Oh, dude, I really liked it. Because of like my experience so far of listening to Danny's wonderful country recommendations, I was like, oh, this has to be a cover. This sounds like something that you write in 1950s. Mm-hmm. And I know there's not, at least from my research, it's not a cover, right?
No.
Yeah, no, where it's just like, I think it has very good songwriting. It's so solid because like the thing that like stands out to me with like a lot of the picks that Danny has on here is just like how much the vocals are forward, where I love like just hearing just the rich descriptions they have, and especially with like, a love song like this one. Like I just love the description of like, and I sank into you like a great explorer,
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous stuff. And like I thankfully have not had to hear what Post Malone did with Sierra Ferrell. So
Good,
I'm
because
very happy that
it's just Post Malone mostly.
yeah. So I'm very glad that like, she gets to like have her little standout moment here as backing vocals. And very solid song. Don't really have too much to say about it where
Yeah.
um, I
Well,
didn't know he was Willie Nelson's son. That helps explains why when I saw his name, I was like, there's something about this guy that I don't know. Where I'm glad it was just Nepo Baby, which good Nepo Baby at least,
yeah, one of the best. I would say top three of all time for
Yeah.
me. Because yeah, I genuinely came into Lucas's Nelson music, loving it immediately with the Lukas Nelson Promise of the Real self-titled album. I believe it came in 2017, but like that album, every song is like a classic to me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he's had like when you start your career, a lot of people do it in different ways, and he definitely kind of went like the independent route of like self-releasing stuff with his band, and then kind of refining it. Taking songs that he'd written and re-recording and re-updating them with slicker production when that became more affordable or whatever. And yeah, so now he's ventured out into this is his first solo album with his name only on it. And I'll just say real quick, I got to shout out our fellow SIU alum Dakota Holden, the great pedal steel, the maverick of the pedal steel in Nashville, the hot new cat coming up, the Nashville Cat. Playing in Lucas's touring band. So that's really cool. I almost got to see a Lukas show with Dakota playing, but it got canceled due to the rain. Unfortunately, big bummer. But I will just say I'll recommend if you want to see a live performance of this song, you can. I'll drop a link in the description. Filling in for Sierra Ferrell's part is, of course, Molly Tuttle, who we just talked about on the last episode. Not only singing, but also providing an excellent guitar solo. And, just another connection. We got Tyler Childers as a longtime bassist filling in for bass on that performance. Craig Burletic. But yeah, so you can also check out our buddy Dakota, providing the pedal steel on this song, which, again, it sounds great performed live, and it also sounds great on the album. Yeah, shout out
Love
Dakota.
You if you're listening.
Also,
he got recently engaged. Well, congrats on that, man.
Yeah, he got engaged at the Grand Ole Opry. He also is in a band called Boo-Wah that I definitely recommend people check out. They put out a 4-song EP this year, and it's just instrumental. And he's like the lead of it with his pedal steel, I'll say. I mean, not to discount the band, but if you're into pedal steel music, they give the pedal steel the front and center attention, leading the melodies and stuff. So
yeah, and I'm somebody not to harp too much on our buddy, but like I'm somebody who really loves someone based on how great they are chilling and hanging out. He is such a blast to just like hang out with. One of the funniest dudes I got to meet at school. Love Dakota.
And I'll just say that one of the smartest. Like I felt like he should have been teaching every class that I was in with him.
Like he put me onto so much game. Like even like he probably doesn't even remember because how many people he had to put on the game, but I appreciate him, man. I'm happy to see guys like that, man, getting to kill it.
Yeah, that was like a huge thing. Like when I saw him post about that, I was like, no way, because I've seen him. He's performed with he's toured with several people already, and when I saw him joining Lukas Nelson, I was like, yeah, that just proves, he's got the juice. So look out for him. He'll probably be the next Paul Franklin, who's a famous pedal steel session player. So to fill in Julius there with the Nashville Cat reference.
Thank you. Also, my only other note on this is they have like a motion cover on Apple Music where the chicken is shaking.
Oh, that's cool.
So cute.
Yeah, that's a cool album cover. The diner and yeah. So the reason why I have 2 song picks in a row is because this next song is also produced by the same person who produced the Lukas Nelson album, Shooter Jennings, another Nepo baby, but he's also in the top 3 probably for me. Son of Waylon Jennings, who's really, really, become a in-demand producer in the world of country and Americana and all that. I've listened to several of the albums he's produced over the past few years, and pretty much every one is great. He did Kelsey Walden's album, No Regular Dog, Vincent Neil Emerson. A lot of people like the Turnpike Troubadours album that he's done. I don't really get into them too much, but it's whatever. But this song is Tennessee Quick Cash by Charley Crockett, who I've definitely talked a lot about recently on this show, but I think it's well deserved. This song is kind of like, I would say it's like the thesis statement of where he's at in his career now, where he's just like talking a lot of shit about the industry and, you know, presenting himself as this, you know, wise sage who he's been around the block, he's played the street corners, and now he's just kind of reveling in all that hard work and the success that it's brought him, with this really good, catchy, funky number that ramps up and ends with like a, you know, great solo jam. And so, yeah, what'd you think of Tennessee Quick Cash?
Dude, he has like such final boss energy. Like he sounds like this is just nothing to him. It's like he's just typing on his fucking keyboard. Like I really got to make a priority to check out more of his albums this year, because everything that Danny throws at me by this guy I end up loving. Where, as Danny brought up, just like very rich instrumentation going on, real soulful vocals. And I just love the like driving piano that comes in at the end, where, you know, would have loved to hear just expand it to a whole jam sesh, but I respect the well placed fade out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you gotta wanting more.
Sometimes exactly. Yeah, this album's a great place to start. $1 a Day. It's the second in his trilogy that he's currently releasing, the Sagebrush trilogy. This it was really hard to pick just one song from it. Like I ended up at this one because it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of like got the thesis statement of the album, the story about a real life chain of, you know, dirty loan servicer called Tennessee Quick Cash, where you go to get a payday loan or whatever they call it. You know, using that as like a metaphor or, you know, analogy, whatever the correct term is. I'll look it up later and I'll cut out the one that is wrong, for the Nashville Music Row industry. Like basically, you know, saying like, if you want to make it in the music industry, all you have to do is go to these guys and be the puppet that they want you to be. And they'll give you anything but a fair deal in that, but you'll get that money quick. You know, like it's the same story in pretty much any popular, you know, genre of music that, you know, they like to ride on. You know, they like to take artists, mold them into what they think is going to sell, and then leave them high and dry once they've got their investment returned, and, you know, the artist is like left in the dust, basically. So yeah, it's really cool, like a way of describing that, because yeah, he's like even says something how you may think it's unfair, but at least they, you know, tell you, you know, up front that it's going to be unfair. So yeah, I'll just say, you know, I try not to talk about the album that he's come on too much, but $1 a Day, and that's probably my favorite that he's put out. There's like Alamosa, I Stay Ready, these really great funky songs, and he's got a great mix of just like singer-songwriter guitar, as well as these, like, you know, recalling the blaxploitation era of, you know, strings and, you know, bongos and funky grooves. Really great stuff, and Shooter really helped him achieve that vision that he's had. And I think he's fine. Like, this is like the perfect example of everything he brings, pulling together all these genres. So I can't speak highly of it enough.
Hell yeah. Like I said, the dude's dope where he's good.
Now I know what you're about to say about their predatory ways, but brother, at least they let you know it right up front. 'Cause if you take that ride downtown where them rounders hang around, you'll find anything in the world but a fair deal. If you need some money fast, just hit the Tennessee Quick Cash.
We got a double J selection here. First one on the ticket is Do It by Underscores, where I want to start with talking about hyperpop, which is a very, very interesting word that is starting to not mean anything like most words in this era we're in. And I keep saying era we're in because I would love to time travel 100 years from now and look at the history books. But anyway, hyper pop has become more of a cultural identifier than a genre in recent years. But the energy of Underscore's music reminds me of everything that excited me about that term, from PC music to Sophie all the way to Brad. Where if you're not too informed, it's kind of just this like umbrella that has like experimental pop music, not like what Dijon is doing, which people like to separate it by clarifying as alternative R&B, but some of the hyperpop, no one really knows what that fucking means. But anyway, a different kind of experimental pop where it's way more focused on like loudness and unpredictability alongside the most like cutesy vocal possible, where it creates a contrast, you know what I mean, in a fun way. And I think what Underscore is doing is really just like phenomenal. And I think it's like, for me, I was really happy to find it and come across it because I was definitely getting a little like bored of the offerings that were coming, because unfortunately from Sophie's tragic passing to her contemporaries kind of moving on to like bigger and bolder projects like OK Lou, which was an album that a lot of critics liked. I didn't really get into that much. I have a few I like from the album a lot, but it's not like my favorite thing in the world. And Brat becoming the weirdest, biggest album possible, because I love Brat. Brat's awesome, but it still feels weird that Brat is as huge as it is, because I don't really think I'm not convinced the mainstream understands it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's an album that won an award, and Charley Crockett was like, yeah, shout out Velvet Underground. I'm like, okay, this is just ridiculous. So back to Underscores. I think like similar to Fire, it's building off of like pure confident experimentation, where it sounds like something that's left over from Future Sex Love Sounds, the Justin Timberlake album, but it's hyper and nastier. And like, it's insane because like, similar to Dijon, Underscore writes, produces, and sings her own shit. And she even pulls off some crazy choreography in the music video for this song. And like, a lot of those things like mean a lot, just because for me, like, I don't know, I don't mean to sound like a very old person, but like, we got like a trailer. Did I tell you what movie we saw today? I feel like I didn't even tell you.
You said it was The Maid or something?
Yeah, Housemaid. Yeah.
Housemaid.
I'm glad you just called it The Maid. But we got the trailer for the new Michael Jackson movie, which is just as expected. It looks terrible. It looks stupid, but I will watch it on streaming on Tubi. And it had me like just thinking about like, man, like pop stars who really want to do it all, they do it all, but they also don't want to dance. And I think it's just really cool that Underscores did it for that one video, where shout out to big a pop star that wants to dance, because it means a lot for Zoomers who are obsessed with it. But yeah, before I go even more deeper into it, I'm curious where Danny landed with this one, because I don't really know what you think of like Timberlake or Timbaland's production, because that's what to me is like the immediate influence it feels like for this, you know?
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I was actually this is after I kind of did on my notes about this, but my sister brought up when she visited me like a box of our old photos and stuff, and in that box for some reason was a CD that my mom bought, and it was Britney Spears' Greatest Hits. Which also had the song from Spring Breakers that we put on our music for movies every time. Great song still. Yeah. And I was really actually like liking it, surprisingly, because I think I was ingrained as a young white boy and to think, oh, Britney Spears, she talks like a baby, ew, she's so terrible. But no, like those songs like Toxic and stuff, like I don't know. I'm saying this completely out of my ass as someone who doesn't like hyper pop. If you want to consider that this or of it, like Britney Spears was kind of on that back in the early 2000s. I'll let the experts finish that thought. But
I'm very glad of you bringing up Britney Spears. I'm sure I said it enough during us talking about every time. Just a critically misunderstood artist, and I truly mean critical, like all caps, because it makes no sense that we live in a world where Brad can be, and Brad's great, but Brad can be fully accepted as like this critically acclaimed thing that like everyone from the DNC to Trumpers wanted a piece of.
Yeah.
And it's very indebted, like a lot of hyperpop, to the incredible run that Britney Spears had in the 2000s, where I want to insist to you that if you like that album, you got to check out Blackout. Blackout is like, it's the album that basically gave birth to what makes up a lot of hyperpop. It's weird, it's catchy, it's infectious, and it has like probably like one of the best Neptune's deep cut that shouldn't really be considered a deep cut, because if it's by the Neptunes, a million people probably heard it. But Why I Should Be Sad is like just it like reaches a level of like Prince, where I am choosing to overhype Britney Spears because for long enough we have been overhating Britney Spears. Yeah. And this album is like just gorgeous, where I'm glad you brought it up, because like I hate acknowledging Timberlake's influence, because the guy just culturally he sucks, but he is a good musician at the end of the day. Like he knows what he's doing. Except for beatboxing. I don't know why we ever let him think he could beatbox, but that's a whole other thing.
I'm definitely down with Justin Timberlake, and you said Timbaland too, and that, right?
Yeah.
I'm into
before the AI.
Yeah. So that style of pop I'm definitely into, and I think that's why I didn't think about it, but this song "Do It" did work for me a lot. I think it's like hyper pop with the emphasis on pop. That is why it works so well for me.
Yeah, because I was split at first on which one to include, because she didn't drop an album this year, underscore. She only dropped 2 singles, and Do It was the second one that came out. The other one is Music, which definitely leans more into the hyper side of that really funny word. And I like that one a lot too, but I love how Do It is just like a very straightforward song that doesn't ever become grating. Like it knows exactly when to bring in a new element to excite it even further. And also just the lyricism is just so playful. Like I love the whole like delivery of a lot of these lines. So I just want to bring some of them up.
Yeah, I think I'm glad you picked this one, because I had to connect it with Tennessee Quick Cash, because it's like both these, seasoned industry people talking kind of about the industry, like asking, do you have Spotify? Am I on your playlist?
How does my song go? Am I in your playlist? Like it's like it's very charming. And I think that's something that like is what makes Underscores a bit more, not easier, but funner to listen to than a lot of her contemporaries. Is that like she has just a very, very great wit and personality that is showcased in her lyricism. Because like a thing I really want to recommend is like her album Wall Socket, which I learned of through one of those like cool Pitchfork videos of talking to artists about their 10 out of 10 albums. Danny Brown, who is like a guy who I just gotta like praise for refusing to ever be put into a box, said out of all the music that he's heard in his life, that is his favorite album of all time. And I checked it out, and it's great. I really like it. It's like if Prince Paul made a pop album, if that makes any sense, because it is just a very insanely rich concept album that is able to be so funny, but also able to be so like capable of strong emotions, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I would love to talk to you about it, because Prince Paul, we get along on a lot of his great stuff with De La Soul. But this new direction of Club Your Bangers is really what made me see the light again with hyperpop, because I feel like we'll never be able to beat Sophie in like experimenting this thing, which is why I kind of don't blame a lot of her contemporaries and people who are influenced by her not trying to do that. Instead, like seeing what the experimentation can work in other stuff. Like one of our contemporaries that underscores is Jane Remover, who's really great, and invented a whole genre called Daria Core, which is like kind of taking those Sophie aesthetics and applying it to plunderphonics, where it's just really, really cool stuff. And I love that Underscores is carving her own lane with these singles. And
I definitely understood every word you just said.
Plunderphonics is avalanches, if you just want a quick example of what plunderphonics is.
Still nothing.
Still nothing. Some people will understand what I mean.
Hey, I'll get there. We still need to do our episode where we like challenge each other with just, something that we're just maybe not even ready for. So, we'll work towards it.
I'm very online. If you can't tell, I used to be on some sites that I will not name on this podcast. But what was it? But anyway, I love that I can get into this stuff still, because for me, as I get older, I'm scared of like not really understanding what the hell young people are trying to do with pop music, where this shit's cool. And sky's the limit when it comes to this artist, it feels like. Well, I'm really glad that you were into it as well.
Oh yeah, I definitely love this song.
Hell yeah. And moving on from there, the second of this run I have is $5 Pony Rides by Mac Miller on his latest posthumous album, Balloonerism. I do want to say a genuine thing, because I already fucking got a bit emotional when we were talking about Arm & Hammer, but like, I still feel like Mac Miller being dead isn't real, because like, it just feels like his originality as an artist, I notice it more and more each year where he's gone, where there really isn't going to be another artist that's going to like fill that weird hole he made for himself in the industry, where it's a career that I hope one day can be like replicated. But for now, I'll settle for his estate being one of the better ones and handling his posthumous material in the way that it should be handled. Where the thing that really like stood out to me about $5 Pony Rides is that like, it makes you think about an alternative timeline for Mac Miller, where he wasn't signed to Warner Brothers and he wasn't ever expected to like live up to the hits he made on Best Day Ever, where you get just some of the weirdest, funkiest music to ever come from a guy who has the capacity that he had. Because, you know, Mac Miller had to like really deal with the stigma of being a white rapper. Like, I didn't like him for a while for that stigma of just him being like, why the hell does he think he has the right to be in this genre?
Right.
And like, he really won me over by becoming such a strong producer, a strong songwriter, where he wasn't trying to be like better than Kendrick. He was trying to like at least be next to Kendrick when it came to those musical sensibilities. And he really, really finds an insane lane on the material on this, because this album has sort of been out, if you know where to like download stuff years ago, where it's just a miracle to be able to hear it on streaming. And $5 Pony Rides has been like probably my favorite leak of his like for a while. It's just a very, very incredible love song that builds and builds and builds until it just like lets loose in a vocal solo that's not focused on being great vocals, but really showing you the soul that's coming out of this like small guy and this like big love he has for this person that he's talking about. And Danny, what did you feel about this song?
Yeah, I think I'm really glad you picked something off of this album, because I did check it out earlier in the year. And it was one of those things where like I put it on like while I was like finishing up work, and it was the worst time to listen to something that you wanted to like, you know, you actually wanted to think about, you know, not just kind of let wash over you. So I definitely want to revisit not only that album, but like pretty much everything from Mac Miller, because I have a similar like interesting like starting out by like just completely disregarding him. I went to Lollapalooza once to see the Black Keys. I'm outing myself as, you know, that type of person.
Really, a white guy born in the mid-90s likes Black Keys.
Yeah, I was in high school and I went by myself, and that was like the main event I wanted to see. And then I was gonna meet up with someone, but he went to go see Mac Miller, and I just never found him, possibly on purpose. But anyway. So yeah, I definitely came into that with a little bit of like, looking down my nose at Mac Miller. But when when the news came out that he died, Julius, you talked to me and kind of told me your thoughts on him, and it made me want to give him a second chance. And the Swimming, his last album he released while he was alive, was like a comfort album for me. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I played that thing over and over. Driving to different gigs that I really didn't want to be doing. Mostly just like filming sports stuff. It was boring and I did not like it, but I needed money. So that really became an album, but I still haven't like really dove into his earlier classics. And, the album, I think I checked out Circles, and I don't think there's some mixtapes that have come out on streaming since then that nothing's really grabbed me, and including this one, but this song like really grabbed me and makes me want to go revisit just to see everything he's capable of doing, because this song, led with the backing band of the Bruner brothers. You got Thundercat and Ronald Jr. and Jamil on the keys, and they have like a little outro jam at the end.
Which I could talk all day about how cool it is that he got not just one, but three of them. Because Thundercat's all over this album, as they were very close contemporaries. But he's from a very insane family of talent, where it's just
Yeah.
cool that all three of them were able to lock in, and the song is so clearly better for it, you know?
Yeah.
Where you can tell like everyone who was involved with this thing was just having so much fun with it. It's just full of so
Yeah.
much personality.
Yeah. So yeah, this song is definitely like a very good case in like me taking the time. There's a lot of artists I want to take the time to like revisit, including like Kendrick going through his discography but I don't know, this song is really making Mac Miller going to be like a high priority.
Yeah.
To catch up on everything that either I missed or like didn't fully appreciate.
Yeah, because the thing that is unfortunate about his there's a lot of things unfortunate, but like something that's unfortunate in terms of like getting into his stuff like after his passing is that like Circles and Swimming are both really strong albums, but just to even like get a sense of why it's a shame that those are his last two completed works is that he always had that in him. And I think what's fascinating about Balloonerism is that it confirms that, because it was supposed to be an album that came out instead of Good AM. And if you really just want to like notice the difference in that, just press play on any single from Good AM, and you'll see that while he was able to make a really good rap album, it was very much just like kind of insane that like he makes this thing that's very bluesy, very soulful, has SZA just a couple years before she becomes famous, and like somehow Warner Brothers like, no, fuck off, go back in the studio. Wow. And like it's insane that he was able to still go back into the rap mode and make something cool, but like it's definitely not in the similar lane as Swimmings, which I feel like this album feels like definitely a precursor to that sound, like where it's him figuring out things that aren't just rap songs, but they're just like more
great
closer to like something that's like singer-songwriting, you know?
Yeah,
and
for
because
sure.
like if it wasn't this song, I would have picked Rick's Piano, which I think is just like just an incredible piece from the record. But yeah, well, I'm really glad that you were into it. And I
was gonna ask, is there any like documentaries you know of about Mac Miller? Because there should
not that I know of, but he did have an MTV reality show which has a few funny bits from it. Where Schoolboy Q was on one episode where that was cool. But outside of that, unfortunately, no docs are out yet, which I'm sure at some point there will be. Because I remember when the only thing that the estate did that was a little weird was they pulled a De La Soul before De La Soul even did it, where someone who was like a huge Mac Miller fan was like, I want to write a book about him. And they're like, we do not give you any permission. And it's just like, dog, unfortunately, once something is a public figure, anyone can do whatever they want. That is the unfortunate thing. Like, it's like, if you're going to chase down book authors, you might as well chase down people that make fucking fan art. Because, like, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sure at some point they'll want to throw together a documentary, because
I hope so.
The fans will be into it. And there's a lot of... He has such a fascinating story. And, but like, I love this song. I'm very happy I can have it on vinyl finally. And, fuck Goldlink.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's funny, but like it was like just I think a week or even maybe a few days after Mac Miller died, Goldlink, who is this like artist that I never really liked in general, like he's popular for this song that blew up Brent Faiyaz. That the song has a great hook, but Goodlink is not really an interesting rapper at all. But anyway, Goldlink, just like, I don't know, it's like if Travis Scott tried to be Tyler the Creator adjacent. It's just very uninteresting, and it's only interesting based on who's around him. Mm-hmm. And I would get a lot of shit for that, because there are a lot of diehard Goldlink fans out there, but I just never really saw the hype, just like Travis Scott. But anyway, a few days after Mac Miller passes away, Goldlink for some reason logs into Instagram, posts a black and white picture of Mac Miller, and goes into a whole rant of like, yeah, well, I always felt a type of way about Mac Miller because he sort of stole a song of mine, and I always wanted money for it, but I guess I'll never get it now. Rest in peace, I guess. Where the full essay itself is more disrespectful than I can even like try to describe, and it's just one of the weirdest things to ever do. Like, no one needed that. You know, like, it's fine if Mac Miller did fuck you over, but even in the story that he's trying to tell, it doesn't really sound like he even fucked them over, you know? It's just a classic thing of like, oh, I'm a musician, I feel like someone's stealing my shit. Like a rapper that I bleep out his name because he's very old line and I do not want this guy after me. Did a similar thing this year where he was like, fuck Tyler the Creator. He does what I do. And we were like, what did Tyler the Creator do? He used the same flow as me on a song that has a completely different structure and lyrical content and production. And he says, fuck Andre 3002. And we're like, what Andre 3000 do? He made an album that had very long track titles. I made an album that had very long track titles. Where it's like, dude, no one here is the originator of most of this shit. Everything is coming from something. Where it's just silly to die on the heel of it. Especially right after he really died in such a tragic way.
Right.
Where
no
just a bit of lore where I never liked Gold Link before, but after that I was just pissed. Where the fun thing you can do after reading that, if you do want to read it, is Innocent Pack raised hell over it. Where it's one of the meanest comments I ever read, where I'm glad that Innocent Pack is such a real one. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
For just, standing up for a guy in a time where every artist is scared to do anything on public and social media to piss off someone,
Yeah. Well, that's good. Good for him. All right, so we're going to go to another troubled love song, and we're going to talk about Love Me Like You Used to Do by Margo Price, featuring Tyler Childers, his second entry in this playlist, in the form of a duet that he recorded, you'll never believe this, in the same room as Margo Price, the lead artist. Can you believe it? A country duet.
You're telling me they didn't have to bounce out a Pro Tools session?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you're Willie Nelson, you can record your vocals and send them across the country, digitally. But if you're trying to have a hit song, you need to be in the same. My main beef comes from Zach Bryan and Casey Musgraves having a hit called "I Remember Everything," where literally all the promotional pictures are like photoshopped promotional pictures of each of these individual artists put together. And it's just sad to me because there are certain things from the old way of doing things that I think can be used to strategically make it better. And one of those things is like, being in the same room, collaborating, like, actually collaborating and, working together. And the fun thing about this is Margo Price and Tyler Childers both great songwriters, but they didn't write this song. They picked up this song. I think the songwriter, let me get the name, Steven Knudsen, is a friend of Margo's who's like a, Nashville guy performing around town trying to get his songs picked up, which is, and a job that should be more respected and, paid because, we live in a time where everyone has to write and record their own songs just to survive monetarily. So I don't begrudge people doing that, but it is nice to see a great song come from this kind of old way of doing it in Nashville, where, you have someone that's job is to write the song, and then you have someone's job to pitch the songs to different artists. So this song, Love Me Like You Used to Do, probably has my favorite line of the year. Sometimes a lot of times I like to make playlists. I like to take a line from the first song I add, and you better believe I had a playlist called "Let's Forget All Our Woes" this year. Great line that Tyler Childers. You can hear his smile as he's delivering that line. So shout out to Steven Knudsen who wrote it, and shout out for Margo Price who is back in a big way. Her last couple albums I really did enjoy, but they didn't quite reach the heights of her first 2 or 3, and this album, Hard Headed Woman, is full of just classic country sounds, with really good songwriting from her and others. There's a couple covers on there, but bringing it back to the old way of doing it with like George Jones and Tammy Wynette and Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn doing a slow waltz, and that is the star of the album for me. This song. Love Me Like You Used to Do. So what did you love it like you used to do, Julius?
I love a duet where for me a lot of my introduction to this kind of music was through Dewey Cox, and I of course had that on my mind when listening to this one. And this is just like, it's a really good song. It's very charming. Like hearing Tyler Childers at a very softer tone, and his inclusion on this playlist is always fun. And Margo Price, hell of a voice. Have you put her on the playlist before this, or?
No, I think this is her first appearance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't know why she feels familiar, but yeah, really good song, very charming. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the Moses line because I really like the delivery on that one too. I love it when people make up words for a love song.
Yeah.
But really good record. It's cool also to know that like they made it in the same room and stuff, because You know, I don't. I'm somebody who's pro accessibility when
Yeah.
it comes to making things, of course. But it is like you can tell when the magic is gone when most music collaborations don't happen in the same room,
Right.
and it gets to the extent where it's just like, what is the point of any of this?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
at least lie to me, like take a picture in the same room. Like that's
yeah,
kind of all I'm asking really is to make me think it is, even if it's
hmm
not.
yeah, because for me, it's just like you can hear when the chemistry isn't there in that way, you know. Like it's kind of like when you could tell like a late Beatles song, John Lennon was there for 5 minutes of a 19-hour recording session.
Right. Yeah.
It is what it is. Where it doesn't necessarily ruin the song, but it is like when a song like this is this good, it makes sense that was like the background of it all,
Right.
and it does. Of course, it's trying to capture that classic duet style that Danny mentioned of those artists, but it succeeds in just capturing the full of it, where it's very enriching. Where
Yeah.
big fan of it. I love it just like how I didn't know I used to love it.
There you go. Yeah, no, Margo Price has been an art like I would credit her as one of the artists that really brought me in as a full throated country music fan because her debut album, Midwest Farmer's Daughter, it came out on Jack White's Third Man Records. So it was kind of like him championing her as this like really great singer and songwriter. Like there's like a lot of great bangers on that album as well as some like really deep personal stories about going to jail and all this stuff that comes with being a Midwest farmer's daughter. But no, yeah. So like, she's one of those people that I've stayed with through the years, and even though she's gotten a little experimental with like going out and doing mushrooms and recording an album and then releasing a second album from those sessions that should have probably been left unreleased because the first album was good, that type of thing. But I love that she's able to play around with genre. And a big thing that I like that she's doing now, she recently revamped her band. She used to have the Price Tags as her backing band, and I don't know what this new one's called yet, but I'm all for her. She said she wants to kind of follow the tradition of like Emmylou Harris, who when she was starting up, getting popular, she brought out Graham Parsons to sing with her, and that shot Graham Parsons into his own popularity, which of course tragically ended way too soon, only putting out 2 albums solo, in addition to his work with the Byrds. But Margo Price is bringing out Logan Ledger to be a part of this band, and he's singing backup, opening some shows, showing how great his songs are. We talked about Logan with "Let the Mermaids Flirt with Me" on our track ones. A lot of callbacks to the track ones episode. Interesting how that all comes together. But yeah,
Yeah.
so championing smaller artists that deserve a bigger audience, and I couldn't think of anyone I would want to do that more than Logan Ledger, who insane singer and great songwriter as well. So that's very cool to see.
Hell yeah. Love to see it.
You love to see it and you love to think about it. So what do you think about the next song?
That is next song and my last pick on this playlist. Think About It / What You Think by keiyaA, who I cannot compliment enough. I'm a loud and proud Chicagoan, so unfortunately when an artist is based in Chicago, even if I don't know how that artist feels about Chicago, I am gonna be a diehard fan. And keiyaA is like just similar to Underscore, similar to Dijon, but even more so than both of them. Is just such a unique artist that I am so happy is like making stuff and has the room to not only make stuff but to evolve from everything that she made before. Where her album that came out in 2020, Forever Your Girl, which is a very, very just great. Everyone calls it Neo Soul. In honor of D'Angelo, I've been trying to not call things Neo Soul anymore. But if you like Neo Soul, you will probably like that album. It's like perfect. It's great. And like there's a lot of things that I feel like influence a lot of her contemporaries in that way. But anyway, back to this song. What is so special about it to me is that it fully is keiyaA refusing to be put into a box. Like, it's not reminiscent of Joe Scott, Erykah Badu, but instead T-Pain, who is a very, very underrated R&B hitmaker himself, where I'll never need to really call T-Pain underrated because he is one of the most successful artists out there, and he deserves it. Like, if anyone deserves it, it's him. But, like, we definitely take him for granted. And that's something that I love that keiyaA even confirmed in an interview regarding the song, that is someone that she was channeling. And it, like, is great because keiyaA has the room to be experimental. She has the room to be challenging. And she takes it all the way to the bank with what should be just a regular love song, but it's more a pregame, if anything. Where, like, you know, I love Richard Linklater, so I love the Before trilogy. And the great thing about those movies is that they're not necessarily love stories or romances. They're like arguments or connections that lead to love potentially, but we never get a chance to like witness it, you know, flourish. And like this song does in such a great way. Where how'd you feel about Danny?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, there's no better way to sell me on music other than to like include a very specific meme that I always think about. And that's the way the song ends, with the clip of the little kid saying "yes sir," like edited over himself. And like I laughed so hard just when that came on, when I was listening to this album for the first time.
Yeah, she has like such cool samples. Like it's like Mad Lib. Like it's just you could tell like it's things that were stuck into her head. It's just like, what's the button for this song? And she immediately is able to pull out from a catalog of cool shit that she's heard, you know?
Yeah. And as much as I hate, you know, when people are like, this song is about mental health, the album Hook's Law does take you on a journey where you kind of do feel crazy a little bit listening to it. Like, you know, you do feel on edge. And, you know, starting off with, like, I'll be honest, the first two songs, I was not sure I was going to like this album. Just because it's like, there's like the one where it's talking about, you know, basically like the cruelty is the point, and I'm like, okay, I agree. Okay, I'm woke. I know it's all, everything sucks. Can you just like, you know, talk about something else? And she does. And the best part of it, this song and a lot of other songs on this album, is the insane drum work that is, you know, either used, you know, recorded for this or sampled. Including like there's the one song where like there's like a DJ that runs back this like really intricate jazz drumming. I think it's a song that comes before this one in the track list. I haven't listened to the album in a few weeks, so a little foggy. But this song,
I've listened to it almost every other day.
Oh yeah, yeah, it definitely invites that too, because it's there's so much.
Like I was there with you. Like at first I was like kind of confused because I wasn't really too into the singles that came out, because I was just like, this feels like it's trying to challenge me to not be into it. You know, like I felt like I was missing something when I was like, why is this not catchy? Why is this not working? But like similar to like I hate to bring him up because she has beef with him online, Billy Woods. Like it's basically inviting you to like challenge yourself and your own like things that you're into with music to try to find something good about it, because you could tell from the first glance that like this is well produced. This is very much her intention artistically, you know. But where I'll share with you that like I was very like on the first two songs I was like, I don't know what the hell's happening here, but I'm here for it. I'm curious, and I've been listening to it a lot just because it is like every time I come out of it, I'm like, wow, I did not pick up this part of the album, you know. I mean, it's like it's dense in a way where it doesn't feel like it's homework. Like I want to like constantly dive back into it, you know.
No, and just to connect it to the title, Hook's Law is basically like a spring. Like that's the force that happens when you bring something back. And I think like those first two tracks are kind of like you have to exert a lot of force to pull the spring back, and then once you let go, like by the third song, you're like. You're flying. You're in along for this ride, and you know, I don't know. You feel like you're dodging things along the way, but yeah, really, really cool album like that. It seems, I don't know. It's just constructed really well and gives more feelings than just like, oh, I like this. You know, it makes you think.
Oh yeah.
Of course, that's the title of this here song. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's just
Think
like
about
very
it.
creative, and it's very like I use the word charming a lot, but like I'm just someone who really loves personality coming up in the lyricism, and like feel like I'm actually watching these well-written characters interact, and it's just
Yeah,
a
a hilarious
really
premise.
really fun song because like the song is basically like, hey man, I don't want to fuck you if you're weird, like if your
Yeah,
politics are weird, if you're not for feminism, if you're not for liberation, why the fuck would I
yeah,
want to give it up to you, you know? And like that's awesome because I do think that like something that's really cool about our music is how sensual it is, of like seeing sensuality as a revolutionary thing, because it is. And
yeah.
yeah, and like I really love the flutes that come in on that like second half. Like it's so impressive that I think Andre 3000 should pay her for lessons. Where so we're pissed off, I gave you that. Enjoy. I love your album, by the way, if you're listening. I hope you're not
You want me to
listening. Please
bleep
don't
that
listen.
mention it too, or
Yeah, you mean because you can already tell based on who I'm like bringing up who's getting dissed. But you
yeah,
know, I respect you. I respect you. I'm scared of you too because
yeah,
your music feels like it's like getting punched in a great way. But like, but yeah, where it's like I mean I'm very lucky. I'm like I'm not I'm happily in a relationship and I'm also not a woman. So I
mm,
can't imagine what it's like to be in this dating landscape where every guy who is single is most likely a Trump supporter that no one wants to date.
yeah,
So the premise already is very intoxicating because there's so much potential in dealing with like a dating landscape that resembles a wasteland more than an actual population, you know?
yeah. There's
But
so
yeah,
many
no.
potential jump scares of just one thing someone could say that just instantly kills the mood, everything.
Yeah. And it's like it's captured so well in the song that really just has no boundaries. It's just a really cool thing that I'm happy came out of this album because it was a 5 year delay, like not delay, but like it's been 5 years since the last record where a lot of people were just like, so what's going on? Is she like just DJ? Because she did like some really cool DJ mixes as DJ Cowgirl on SoundCloud. Peep that if you like. Just really cool electro because I don't know what box to really throw it in, but like a lot of people thought she was just gonna be doing that because it was cool and stuff. And there was even like one time I got to see her open for Bodie James as that like artist name or whatever. And like unfortunately, because a lot of guys who listen to Bodie James don't really like black music, it's very weird. Almost every underground rapper has a weird fan base. It's like, yeah, I'll come out to your show, man, but I've never heard of D'Angelo in my life. And like, so the crowd was talking over her entire set, and I hated witnessing it for her because you could tell that she was bothered, and you could tell that Bodie James could not give a shit. At least I
Yeah,
hope he gave a shit. It felt weird because I was even just like, why are you opening for Bodie James? That's a very weird contrast. Because I love
yeah,
both artists, but it's like it's not what you would expect. But yeah, no. Where I was a fan like most. I was like most of her fans, where I was just like wondering what's next, what's gonna happen, and it didn't just blow me away. It just blew my fucking rocker. Where I don't really know
yeah.
how to like fully perceive this record, but I know that I am obsessed with it, and I know that I love this song for sure. Where this is like, I'm comfortable at the time of this recording to say this is like probably my song of the year. Like I cannot get enough of it. If it came out a few months earlier, it would have probably be like Wheezy on my most listened to.
Yeah, no, great song. Breakbeat, year of the breakbeat. I'm declaring it.
Yeah.
2025. What's gonna be the drum beat of 2026? Maybe just a drum circle. That's all we need. Just people just playing
Yeah.
random notes. That would be fine.
Let's just make drumless everything.
Yeah, drumless. Oh yeah, 2026 is gonna be the year of the drumless song.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good drumless
Hmm.
songs. Not those
Hmm.
bad ones like on Blonde and all that. Just kidding. Have to bleep that too. Okay.
Blah. Like you said it. Like that was the most Rush Limbaugh you could have sounded.
I've been working on that. So,
Bring in the listeners.
well, I'll go to hell for saying that, but not before we talk about Heaven's Song. Sorry, I got ChatGPT writing my transitions. Heaven's Song by S.G. Goodman, from the wonderful album Planting by the Signs. And this is the closing track on the album. You could probably tell because it's a nice, long, drawn-out song. It's a bit of a, it's a fireworks finale of lyricism. It tells the long story of someone going to heaven and the journey that it takes to get there, not knowing necessarily why they're going or if they even want to. But as the chorus says, maybe if I see it, then I'll want it. And if you haven't heard the song yet, I recommend checking it out. But for those who have, like the final chorus of S.G. Goodman singing her heart out is just, it grips you. It stops you in your tracks, because the album itself is kind of like a low key. There's a lot of great drumming. It's a nice snappy drums and some grooves and some more atmospheric songs as well. But S.G. Goodman definitely shines as a songwriter. Again, telling Southern stories, because growing up in Kentucky, there's certainly a vibe and aesthetic that is very rich for a lot of people to draw from. Tyler Childers, including in that group of Kentucky artists, Sturgill Simpson. So yeah, this song, definitely blew me away first hearing it. And then even more so when I decided to, read along with the lyrics and follow the story of, taking a ride to heaven and picking up all these hitchhikers, from love, you got sin, you got the universe, real and authenticity, Jesus Christ, of course, being, notorious hitchhiker. So yeah, what do you think of this one?
I loved it. Where I remember when I first heard it, I had no idea it was 9 minutes. Because even just from the opening note, it had me gripped. Because I don't know what it is. I love a song that just feels like walking in a Chicago winter, at night. It has just a very good slacker loner vibe to it. It's so good. I've already compare a keiyaA song to a movie, but this remind me a lot of what I love about the vibes of Inside Llewyn Davis, that Coen Brothers movie that's basically a riff on what a Bob Dylan biopic would be. Yeah, did you ever see Inside Llewyn Davis?
Oh yeah,
great film. Probably it sometimes I'm is this the best movie ever about a musician? I have to think about it, but it just feels like it captures everything that would suck and also what would be cool about being a musician in a way. Specifically a poor musician, not a guy's yeah, my dad bought me a Casio. No, just you and your guitar, you got someone's cat for some reason.
Yeah, that's just the coldest.
The coldest looking movie.
It rewards multiple watches, and you realize how mean they're being.
Yeah. Because not to get too much on movies, but I saw the big Marty Supreme and I really wanted to love it, but it honestly just reminded me of a worse version of Inside Llewyn Davis at points, which people have been giving me hell over it already. I'm just fine. I'm happy to be here to take it. I wish I could be more into it, but just watch Inside Llewyn Davis, basically the same fucking movie but better. Anyway. Back to Heaven Song. I am just really obsessed with the metaphors that are going on here and how much the pacing lends itself to this very dazed just vibe that's going on here,
Yeah.
It's just I can't get enough of it, where I was really I'm always ready for Danny to blow me away with his picks, but this one really threw me, where I'm really happy that it's the closer on this, because I feel it's very deserving of that placement.
Yeah, I'm glad you felt that way, because it definitely showcases her style of singing, that she's got really unique voice, that it just feels right with her songs. Just to shout out one, I would say it should be considered a standard, because Tyler Childers covered it on his 2023 album, which only had 7 songs, and there was 2 or 3 originals and the rest were covers, which he semi-seriously, semi-jokingly said was an album that he would use to pitch to Elvis, all these songs.
Oh, yeah.
I wish he wants Elvis to sing, and one of those was S.G. Goodman's Space and Time, which is just a very straightforward love song that's just beautiful, with the chorus being I never want to leave this world without saying I love you. So and her voice it makes that song really emotionally strong. And but this song showcases how she's got a very conversational style of talking in her songs, and you can also see that on some of her Instagram videos, where she just narrates over footage. And honestly, you could just listen to stuff like that all day. You know, like imagine her narrating a nature documentary and just like saying, well, you know, like the seal is going to get a little bite of food here in a minute. And, you know, you're just like hooked immediately with the way she narrates the verses of this one. And just another, if you need an entry point, she's doing a cover on her live shows of the Butthole Surfers song, Pepper.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one?
I do not actually.
It's like the one where it's like he's like talking like Marky got with Sharon got Cerise, she was Sharon.
Oh,
Yeah, and then it's like I don't mind the sun sometimes.
Yeah.
So that similarly showcases her way of singing and talking in the same song. But yeah, I really recommend this album. It's definitely got some great reviews. But I don't know how much it made on the year-end lists, but it definitely deserves a spot and definitely deserves a listen if you like great songwriting, especially from someone from Kentucky.
Oh yeah, and you already brought up like the chorus. It's so good. Like every time when it comes in, it just feels like I'm hearing it for the first time again.
Yeah,
where I definitely want to prioritize checking out the full album for this because I was like this is just the kind of storytelling I'm obsessed with. Like just very, very good stuff where it's not the same at all, but like it reminds me a lot of what I love about Courtney Barnett. And
for sure. No, that's definitely a good connection. There's a really great song on there called "Snapping Turtle," which kind of tells the story of her coming up on some kids that are, kind of torturing a snapping turtle, and she walks up and is like, "Can I get a lick in?" Grabs the stick and ends up beating the kids.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
that's
like
so
really
sick.
funny, really emotional, and I think you'll love the production on it as well. A lot of great synthy, atmosphere and great drumming as well. So I would definitely make sure you get to that at some point.
Oh yeah.
But that's it. I mean, oh boy, I'm exhausted. We're talking about 20 songs in one 2-parter episode. That's a lot of work, but I don't know. It was a great year, and it was really easy to throw all these together, and then really fun to sequence them together, of course.
Absolutely. Like this was a blast, and I'm very happy with how the playlist came out. I'm excited for all of you to check it out and see how well it works for you. Because we've all had to do a lot of hard things this year, but nothing was harder than putting together this thing. Like, don't let anyone tell you like this is real activism. No, but like it's more just because like this, like Danny said, like I am just stunned at how much I loved music in 2025. So excited to see what the next year comes, but I will be like just running back to this often because I have a lot of all-time favorites on this list,
Yeah, it's a great guide, a lot of different styles to branch off from and a lot of different interconnections.
I just wanted to make the joke of like we got everything except heavy metal.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
But
maybe next year I'll listen to a heavy metal album. I should try to get back into metal, but I just don't have the time for it. I can't sometimes.
Yeah. All right, that'll be our goal for 2026 is to find a heavy metal album that's good. We'll also accept emo. We'll also accept Jelly Roll's next album as like that counts as heavy metal.
I'm so pissed he already lost a bunch of weight. Go fuck yourself, Jelly Roll. Like what the fuck, man? What's the point? Sorry, that's me.
I'm just mad. I'm stealing this joke here, but if you don't know where it's from, I actually wrote it myself. But he's trying to get pardoned for his previous crimes. You know what his previous crimes was? Selling fentanyl, a weapon of mass destruction. No pardon for that. That's unexcusable. Put him in jail. Actually, charge him for more crimes, not pardon him. I mean, his music is the biggest crime. Am I right, folks? I'll be here all week. Hey, I tell you.
Waka waka.
I get no respect. Jelly Roll, come over. He's my wife likes him now. What's the deal with this?
Yeah.
Sorry, sometimes when I can't think of anything, I just go back to Rodney. He's always there for me.
I heard a really good one I hadn't heard before I wish I remembered, but if I find the TikTok, I'll send it because they were Rodney Dangerfield. I've only watched and it's crazy. This is crazy. I've watched 2 of his specials out of just morbid curiosity. And I don't give a fuck. He is hilarious.
Yeah.
But for me, what's funny about him is that there's stuff that feels like his lines feel like you already have heard it. Where for me, coming across a new line from him from this old video, it was like discovering Earth. It was great. It was heavy.
It's like opening a treasure chest.
Oh man. But yeah, we're gonna have heavy metal and Jelly Roll on the next year's playlist for sure.
Sounds good to me. And we're not done talking about 2025, of course. We've got our album of the year picks, our favorite album of the year, if you want to say that, or best album of the year, if you want to say that. Who knows? We'll find out in the next episode. Talk about Geese's Getting Killed and Nourished by Time's The Passionate Ones. Definitely probably more excited to talk about Nourished by Time because I don't know. We'll have fun. We'll have some fun with Geese. I think we're going to start with Geese, fun. Right? I think I already decided this. I hope you agree.
Because I think it's more funny to talk about them now because it's I love that in terms of the attention economy, people are so pissed at how much of it is being thrown at Geese.
Yeah.
The back, it's the funniest backlash I've seen for a band recently.
It is very funny.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. I'm excited for both. Both are really cool records.
We're gonna talk about Fantano's review of Geese's Getting Killed. That'll be the main meat of the episode.
I had no idea. I had no idea what happened with that.
There's nothing really. I just it. To me, it's just he gave it an 8, but I think if he were to do it again, he would probably give it a 10. But he just didn't want to overrate it. But
yeah,
or at least
which I don't blame people, but it's just I kind of hate the thing of people just don't want to they're rating shit based on what everyone else is rating shit as. Whereas
that's the weird thing.
Yeah, whereas for me, just say what you feel because it's great to look back and know that it wasn't a complete consensus that was consistent because most of the time it's not. It's just more all the people that got to talk about it were all just the same kind of white guy.
I think you have it's part of the rating. You should almost not be allowed to give a rating until you've sat with it for a year or 6 months or something, because we'll talk about it in the episode. But the fact that I still really like it and I still find new songs from it that I love, that's what makes it a great and worth talking about. So, but we don't want to give away too much already. We've already I'm going to cut all that out. I'll bleep it out. But we'll wrap it up for now.
We're just talking about Silk Money again.
Yeah, we're talking about Silk Money. Yeah, Silk Money. Great album. I loved his album Getting Killed. But thanks for listening. Thanks for, being willing to, listen to us talk about 20 whole songs. And more coming soon.
Yeah. Enjoy the music, y'all. See you soon. And bye.
Bye.